Alright guys, what's up? Just gonna jump back, just go back to our Legion Commander, which we started quite a while ago. But since we're not able to submit any more special effects or new animations or extra bonus for Source 2, came out for Dota 2, the updated engine and all that, I've been taking a look at the Legion Commander that we started back then, over a year ago, and then we put it on hold. And we're gonna try and make it work with the regular bones that it has and the regular animations and all that stuff. So we're revisiting it. We're gonna finish it, skin it, and see if we can push it in and make it work for Source 2 with the default bones and for the cape and all that. As you guys remember, we have this huge cape going on her. We have this Spartan design going on. So we're gonna jump right into that, and I'll show you guys how I'm gonna be texturing the helmet, and I'll start the setup for the shoulder piece and the loincloths. Because the cape is, I don't know, I want to say about 80% there. And the weapon I started texturing last night, so that I just started, so it's really early on, but I'll show you guys where we're at. Also check out our website. We have LiveWorkshop.com up and running, and it's just the start of it. We're gonna have tons of features and be able to log in and save your videos and submit videos and show live artists and have your own little portfolio and everything on there for everybody. But we're working up to that. Right now we just have the broadcast archives as the front page, so you guys can check out our past broadcasts. I'll be updating it every couple of days with a new video, so make sure you guys tune in, check that out, bookmark it, and check out the awesome artwork that we showcase on the top there with the animated scrolling bars. So yeah, you guys can see all the cool art that people submit to the workshop. Okay, so let's just go ahead and show you guys what we're going to be working on here. Let's close my window. And now you guys, same time. Okay, so here's the Legion Commander. Let me show you actually the default one first. Here's the default, right? Everybody knows her. Good old Legion. Hey Bonayo, what's up? And actually, let me jump out of this screen. You guys want to see it? Full screen. Okay. There we go. Alright. Okay, so she's got her back item, which has the cloth bones that animate inside of the game. She's got her shoulder item, she has her head item, and her weapon, which I moved over here so you guys can see it a little bit easier. Her spear. And then her Arcana has her dual weapons, but I don't have access to those files, but we know that, you know, she gets the dual wielding swords. And with those, we're gonna make sure that our set also works for the Arcana, which people love, right? So we're gonna keep an eye on that. So we're gonna be doing a shield on our Spartan as well, which I started to texture it super early on, so you know it's gonna look bad, but you guys will get an idea of what that shield is gonna look like. And we're gonna do a second style for the shield, which will be able to go on her back, so when she's wielding her dual swords, the shield's not on her arm as well. And hopefully Valve likes that, so we'll see how that goes. Oh, thanks. Bonaya, what's up? Hey German David, welcome back. I'm doing well, we've been texturing like crazy the 7 chest set piece that we want to finish up with the Abaddon, the Timbersaw, Flinks, Gyrocopter, Lena, and our courier, and I'm leaving somebody out. Anyways, we'll show you guys all those. We started to throw them all into the game. We started making materials for them. We finished actually materials for 5 of them already, and a little bit of the textures left over in Abaddon and the courier, and then we'll be finished with all 7 of those. And then we're jumping onto Disruptor and this Legion Commander at the same time. So we're doing a lot of sets right now, so hopefully in the next month or so we'll submit the chest. Will be just a massive amount of work that we'll be working on and finally get it out there for you guys to vote on and hopefully get into the game. How do you make a specular map? A specular map is completely black and white, like a monotone texture, So from blacks to 100% blacks to 100% whites, the whole spectrum of that. And the blacks tell it where not to show the specular, the white tells you where to show the specular. So if you want to make a specular map, so take this I hit all my layers so you guys can see how I'm building up my texture for the helmet, which you'll be seeing this stream. But to do the specular maps for something like this, for example, I usually like to grab just a screenshot of that, completed texture, even though it's not finished. Use the saturated 100%, and you mess around with the layers that you've built out across the way. So if you added some dirt for the edges, some enemy occlusion, you have those layers already set up. So borrow from those layers to put on top of this, so you can control how bright you want those pieces to be, or how dark you want them to be, show up or not show up, right? So for something like this, let's just go with something more gray. Specular, and say you have an ambient occlusion in here somewhere, which I do. So let me just grab the ambient occlusion and I'll just throw it on top of that one more time. And then I'm gonna darken it quite a bit. Maybe kick in some of the brightness a little bit more. So see the gravity, see the ambient occlusion is I'm multiplying another time on top of my texture there, so that I really block out where the specular shouldn't really show, into the little crevices in the shadows of your model. So that's, the starting of how you create your specular map. You export that out, and you get your material set up in Dota and you export it if you're working in Dota. If not, same way for regular models or renders, whatever you're working on. And that's your specular map. I can show you more detail on actual specular map that we'll be creating, but that's just, in a nutshell to help you out, man. Hello, what's up, the Lonely Commander? Welcome. Oh my god, they killed Kenny. I have been dude, no, we've been streaming. We've just been streaming a little bit later, so you guys maybe didn't catch the later shows. But yeah, I'm gonna try and stream well, this is like a noon stream, which is unheard of with LiveWorkshop. But I'm gonna see if we can stream earlier and see if it works out better for more people. And yeah, I got a vote thing up. I'm not sure if sometimes if I leave it on running for many days, it just craps out, so I have to start like a new one. So I don't know if it's working. Maybe it's working. You guys can test it out. You let me know, a lone chance, if it worked. I wasn't keeping an eye on it. You're welcome, German. Alright, let's go back to our model here. So there's the default Legion. Go ahead and hide that. Show you guys what we've been working on. So here's our cape. Well, here's our old cape, which we're doing with custom bones, and we actually had it dragging on the floor, and we had it moving really nice and smooth and everything, awesome. And we had custom animations. So she holds her lance and her shield in front, like a Spartan, covering herself up. But we can't submit all that stuff, so we're gonna just be making a version that works with the current model, the default bones, default animations, and it's still gonna be awesome. So we're working it so it still, keeps that level of badass and coolness to the battle-ready Legion Commander. Did I prepare a concept or you design on the fly? I just built the design up in my head, the concept in my head, and then I just sculpted it out into Softimage. And then did the ZBrush after that. You can see over here. So you can see that's the old cape that's dragging on the floor, but that's alright, we can still use those normals for our new cape. And we have her spear as well, already ZBrushed and everything. All this stuff Biz has been baking out. I think a long time ago we had Enemy and he baked out the shield and the bracelet. I think that was it, yeah. So now we've been baking out the rest of it, since we're going to be working on the rest of the Legion, so we can push it out sooner or later. So yesterday I started the hair, so see really early on as well. Just throwing some colors, gradients, our different light maps, materials, and all that fun stuff that we bake out. And we have our weapon in here somewhere as well, which is still early on as well, but I'll show you guys what we have going on for that. Added a layer of that fantasy to it instead of just having the spear as originally planned. It needed a little bit of a kick, so I made it, I gave it this like godly kind of glow to the lance that really stands out from a distance. So I think the players really enjoy that kind of stuff, really showcase the character that they're playing. So that fantasy aspect on top of it to attach it even closer to Dota. Works great. Alright, sorry about that. Message. Hey Cedric, what's up, buddy? Frosty, welcome in. This. Because you haven't been watching, learning more stuff. You've been doing a lot of Unreal environment stuff. It's fun. Oh, right on, man. Yeah, learning Unreal is really a lot of fun. It's got so many cool little things in there. I started with Unreal back in, oh god, what was it? 2001, I think? When we were working at Digital Extremes. We had just put out Unreal Championship, the first Xbox Live game back then. It was crazy. I still have the bag actually they gave me at the lunch party. It's an old bag. What is my mat cap in ZBrush? It is GW_pewter. And I can actually hook you up with the file because they don't have it on the website any longer. So let me get you that file. Actually put it into my shared folder here so I can just give you the link so you can download it, and anybody else that wants it, you can just grab it. It'll be in the chat. If people are watching this in the broadcast, just grab it or just copy the link. And if this is in a broadcast, actually I'll paste it on the comments so you guys can just grab it from there. People still ask for it like on every video, so eventually on the website on LiveWorkshop.com we'll have a tool section so you can just download our metacaps, even some models that we create we'll put on there so you guys can grab them and see what they're like. Textures, things like that. You guys can learn faster. Alright, where is this thing? GW_pewter. Here we go. Boom, there you go. You can download that file for you guys. Metacap. We started this in March in 2015. Has it been that long? Yeah, we had like 6 sets that we were working on that were about halfway done, and we had to shelve them because Valve announced Source 2, and that they wouldn't be taking any more special effects, animations, or knee bones, or whatever it was. So at that point, we were just like... so yeah, a whole bunch of our work had to be shelved, and then we started focusing on new stuff, which we've been working on, you know, for the past year or so. And you guys will see all that stuff come out in the next month or so. I think we'll try and push the chest out. And we also have a Meeple that we're finishing up with the Meeple Girls. And then this Legion and the Disruptor, like I said, for the Chinese New Year event, which we'll finish hopefully before January. It's our goal. Like a week before the actual deadline. They did FH, they did. Yep. That's what I just mentioned. You got no notifications? Yeah, something was up with Twitch. A lot of people were not just getting notifications on any streams. Really, it's kind of weird. I don't know what to tell you about that, man. Glad to see you back though. The kip on the set makes you happy alone. Awesome. Yeah. Abyss is gonna be skinning it in the next few days, hopefully, and we can see it in game. This is the old version down here that we had dragging on the ground, but this one will work with the default bones, and we made it work so that it, you know, still looks badass, and we puffed up the shoulders a little bit since it's not being dragged on the floor anymore. It's a little bit more of a floaty kind of thing. You know, it won't be as realistic, but it's gonna look actually even more badass, I think. So it'll be alright. Were they able to learn to texture and model in 3D? I was self-taught actually, but I started back in making mods for Half-Life 1, so I started learning Photoshop back then, and have been doing it ever since. And you check Skype. You need to upload the latest PSD. The latest PSD for what? For the cape? Abyss? Alright, let me get you that. Let's see where I have it. Okay. I think, Abyss, this is the... think that's the latest one that I just put up, Abyss, so you can grab that. Abyss is going to be baking over this UV tape, which you guys can see right here, over to this new one that I set up over here. You can see the UVs are a little bit off on the new one on the right cape. Either shifted over, and that is because I made room for the hair, which you guys can see over here. So once I finish the hair and he bakes over those color maps and normals, I'll then put these two things together so that they're in the same UV window. Same UV texture. I think they all fit in here. Because the hair, we weren't planning on having the hair as part of this item, but because of the whole source 2 thing, I had to reconfigure how I needed to put this thing together. So the hair, the 3D hair, is actually part of the cape. These guys come together as one item. And then the little floaty bits of hair actually come with the helmet. And we'll try and have those guys, you know, animated a little bit as well with some cape bones or loincloth bones or whatever it is, so they move differently and they're all floaty and looks cool. I know alone, but we can't submit new bones for source, so we can't have it drag on the floor, unfortunately. Instead, you know, having it all floaty, it's gonna look really cool anyways. Hey Polygon, what's up? Is the voting working, guys? You guys let me know if the voting actually updated. If not, then I need to update it on this, or make a new one on the site. I think it's been running too long and it just craps out after a while. Baseless vote, 5 votes, wow. I'm gonna throw a vote. I'm keeping an eye on it right now so I can see if I can make a new one or not. Okay. So, oh, the shield. I haven't showed you guys the shield. There it is. So this guy is supposed to be going... oh, no, they already moved this out of the way. Okay, well, it's supposed to be on her arm. Kind of like that. Gonna go on her other arm. The one that doesn't have the bracer on it. So the arm item is actually the Aegis shield. Texture is really early on, so ignore the texture. And the bracer. So she's gonna be fighting with her lance and her Aegis, which will look dope. And then for the Arcana, we'll have style number 2 for the shield. And that one we're gonna have on her back, like this. So she'll have both swords out and her Aegis on her back. And it's just gonna, I mean, she's a badass, man. I love Legion. I started playing her a lot lately. I mean, I fucking love her. Holy shit. Tiny set? We do have a tiny set in the works. Very early on, but just the low poly and design kind of blocked out. We're making a King Midas set for him. Oh really? It did count? So the voting's still working? Did anyone throw a new vote in there? No, nobody. Nobody yet. Vote 2 Abyss. Was he at 0? I can't. Damn it. And make a tutorial for making masks. Yes, Kia say John. Let's see. Yeah, we should run through some of them. Abyss has been making the materials now for like the masks. So maybe we'll do a dual stream and we'll have him come on and show you guys the stuff that he's been working on for the materials for our sets. Let's see. Let's bring up our work in progress bar. Where is it? Give me a second. Let's see if I have it in here somewhere. My icons got reset, so I can't. Okay, I think it's here. This might be outdated too, though. Okay, yeah, this is definitely outdated. But you guys can see some of the sets that we started designing at low poly. On the right side, these are all like low poly and UV, so they're ready for ZBrush. Over here, we have the ones that we're working on. This 7 sets over here. Puck was the one I forgot. Puck, Clinks, Gyro, Lena, Abaddon, Timbersaw, and our courier, a little raptor courier driving a mech, are the chests that we want to push out. The Meeple is the Meeple set that we're going to have running while the next major comes out. And we have the Meeple girls building a cosplay costume for that set, which they'll be wearing at the Boston Major. So keep an eye out for that. If you guys are going, say hi to them, take a picture, send it to us. We'll post it on our Facebook page. And then we have an Undying, which we're texturing as well. I'm not sure where we're gonna put that guy. Maybe we'll just release him solo. And then we have like a whole bunch of other sets that we, like I said, we have designed. So we're gonna be finishing up the Disruptor the Legion, those 7 sets, and then we'll jump over probably to, I don't know, like Night Stalker or Tiny or maybe Doom even. But yeah, let's work with here. Maybe we will collaborate with some artists from the workshop, and maybe they want to work with us in some of these sets over here, and we can push some of them faster along with them. And that might be really cool. Alright. Let's go ahead and move this guy. Actually, I'll leave that guy there so we can see the ages too. As you can see the cape on the left side anyways. But let's do what we came here to do. Let's work on this helmet. I'll show you guys the starting layers that I have for it set up. Dota 2 shaders. Yeah, the Dota 2 shaders are tricky, KSA. So the thing to keep in mind for those shaders is that every character in Dota that you're working on actually has different settings for their materials. So if you try to make a material and a specular that you had working really awesome for a Disruptor set, and then you tried to use those same values for an Omni Knight set, they're gonna look completely different because the materials which you don't have access to, the material file, actually tells that material to be either stronger or sharper, or like the bloom will be way stronger on some models, and you don't have any control over that particular setting. You only have control over the mask. So you have to make your mask work to the settings that the model has, which you have no access to, or you can't submit it. You can decompile the model and see what those numbers are, but I mean, it's not gonna help you. You're gonna have to eyeball it anyways at that point. So just keep that in mind. Don't try to use the same settings from one set to the other, because it's not gonna work. And nobody tells you that. Cedric, are we doing a new bloom set? Yes, we are. We're doing a Disruptor. You guys want me to show you the Disruptor low poly that we have blocked out already before we jump onto some texture fun over here? We can do that if you want. Prod, what's up, buddy? When will it be uploaded? KSA? I'm sorry, what? I've been rambling on for a while. When will what be updated? Manny, can I link an image on the stream? It's an image alert. It looks so funny. Yeah, go for it, Alon. Thank you for asking. The new bloom. Yes, I'll show it. Guessing the Discord server is dead? Oh god, yes, I completely forgot we had that. Something we were testing a long time ago to get the microphone thing working, so we can get people chatting on the mic, but the problem was that the Discord thing was like live, but there's like a 20-second delay on the stream, so it was just completely, it was chaotic as all hell. What the hell? My blurred hand covering my face. It looks like I have no faceless void over there. Alright. Please do. Sure thing, Cedric. Sure thing, man. Are you? What are you working on? Are you making one as well, Cedric? You must be making one. You always do some dope ass thing for New Year's. You showed this Disruptor. I think you posted it on Instagram something a while back. I think I posted it. Yeah, I did post it on Instagram. The starting of it, very early on Blockout. It's a little bit more advanced than that, but yeah, let's throw it on there. So I'll just go ahead and save this, and we'll jump back to it in a minute. Disruptor Chinese. Here, bloom. Let's go. All right. Very different. We're going kind of crazy on this thing here. It's the year of the rooster, so we're like, okay, let's. Last time we did one was for TA, and we're like, all right, we're gonna hit it over the head, and just try to force the whatever animal it is of the year right into there. But this year we went completely balls to the wall, and we're like, that's it. We're making a rooster. We're gonna make, we're just joking around that people would make like a Disruptor with an actual chicken that he'd be riding. But we're like, all right, what if we actually, make this work in a clever way, where we actually make this statue come to life that he actually rides. And the statue itself is actually made out of Chinese daggers and Chinese weapons. So all the feathers that you see on the rooster here, and his flock and everything, his tail feathers and everything, they're all gonna be made out of Chinese weapons, daggers, and everything. So my plan is to bring those individual daggers. I have 3 of them that I'm gonna do into ZBrush, and I'll sculpt only 3 of them. And then we'll decimate them, export them back to XSI, and then meticulously place them all over the place so that they're already ZBrushed, and that they look, they have all that sculpt in there, and then I can place them way easier in here than I would have to place them individually in ZBrush. You don't want to place shitty in ZBrush, it's the biggest pain in the ass. So I'm gonna do that in here in Softimage. Softimage can handle a lot of polygons, so I can do him here freely. And once those are set up in there, I can export them back out to ZBrush, and then we'll do all our materials and normal maps and all our bakes in XNormal at the same time. And then the tricky part after that is going to be figuring out which pieces I can UV as groups, and which pieces need to be, and which daggers and swords need to be unique, because there's going to be some unique lights bouncing off from our magic egg that's floating right in front of him here, and some of the orbs on top of his stylish hat and his back swords. So I'm going to be baking a lot of that lighting onto the model, so it feels really alive and really, really unique. But yeah, those daggers are going to be they're gonna be a mindfuck. It's gonna be tricky to get the lighting and all of those UVs working together in a 256x512 texture. So I think after I place them all, then I'll figure out, like, the thing I'm brainstorming right now is like maybe grabbing like a cluster of them, like maybe, you know, something like these. Whoops, not the main guy. Something like this that I can then duplicate and then place maybe one more time. Actually, before I do the ZBrush, I need to figure this out. That's why I haven't jumped onto this guy in like a week or so. See if I can make clusters of these guys and then have maybe 2 or 3 clusters of these guys, so I can have gradient on all those daggers and still have, you know, not only the shadow gradient and the color gradient from the ground up that we like to do from our models, that really grounds into the environment, but also so that I could put the bake lighting from some of those light sources onto the top cluster, for example. You know, like these guys would receive a lot more of that blue lighting from the egg, and then the lower ones would not receive that on top. They would just have the lighting from inside. I want to have some lighting, some blue lighting coming from inside near the root of those feathers, knives, weapons as well. So a lot of things that I need to brainstorm before I even actually do the ZBrush. Then do the ZBrush and then brainstorm even more how I UV map those things. So, but then the rest of him will be super easy. Just that rooster is gonna be tough. And Abyss has to skin the crap out of it. Yeah, that'll be fun. But yeah, those bakes, man, it's gonna be tricky. Oh, nice, the mount looks awesome. Oh, thanks, Cedric. Yeah, it's gonna be really unique, I think, especially when we make it all, you know, like this statue that came to life with all those glows coming out, and the specular be really nice and shiny. It's gonna look really neat, I think. We'll try anyways. Where do you get ideas for our concepts? Well, Abyss said that we should do a Disruptor set with a rooster, him riding the rooster, right? And I was like, okay, how can we make that work? Because, you know, you know, we haven't made a Disruptor set, and I think I wanted to make something that was really unique, out of, you know, very different from everything else that the Disruptor has in game. So the statue coming to life, I don't know, we just brainstormed and we just came up with the idea, and then you know, we were like, all right, let's make it really, you know, new bloom, you know, let's make sure that this just has Chinese, you know, like dripping off of it. So making Chinese weapons actually take over the feathers was, you know, that an extra level of something clever that we could add to the set. So hopefully it works out. We'll try our best. It's not a lot of work, but I think the brainstorming to make those pieces work together is the hardest part. You know, the clustering of those knives and then setting those in a UV, in a really small UV space that can fit the entire rooster, because, you know, he's gonna have the unique UV space for the egg, and the top part there with the hole that has a really nice gradient lighting going deep into the inside of the rooster. The seat of the rooster. Here, let me hide everything else but the rooster so you guys can see. Just the rooster here. The handles of the back feathered long daggers are actually create a seat, a saddle for the Disruptor. The feet are going to be unique since they have those little guards, you know, around the legs. I mean, these are super placeholder, of course. These look like crap right now, but you guys, you know, I'll build a proper version of this 3D concept that I built here. The face has unique UVs, right? So yeah, getting these guys to figuring out how many of those clusters I can make, and then how many clusters of the medium daggers, swords, of the lance, the pike swords, and then the long swords. you know, how many of those can I make to have unique gradients and lighting, bounce lighting on them, and still fit them with proper pixel resolution onto our texture. That's the hard part of this guy. You know, the concept and the idea was, you know, took us a little bit to build those layers of cleverness that we hope work. But yeah, I think that the hard part's yet to come. Where are you? So yeah, that's can't wait to jump on that. So in the next few weeks we'll be doing all that stuff that we just described there. The texture is gonna be really the fun part, you know, because all that headache, all the figuring out is gonna be done. So then the texture is gonna be super awesome, fun, painting all that bounce lighting. I'm really excited for that bounce lighting. Can you tell? Only the Valve guide, which isn't very helpful. Oh shit, let me scroll up. Okay, John, I think I missed your comment again. Oh, there's no tutorials about the masks you're asking about still, right? Yes. So yeah, maybe like I said, we'll bring Abyss on and we'll run through some of the masks that we created for those 7 sets that we showed you. The Disruptor and Timbersaw, the gyro. We're actually working on the materials for the gyro. So maybe when we jump back on those, we'll do a stream and you can either watch live. If you miss it, you can just check the past broadcasts on our YouTube and on our website, at LiveWorkshop.com, yeah? Abyss is always complaining about TA skinning. Always. This is nothing new. You could do a combined chat with YouTube and Twitch up on stream, so we can Twitch see what YouTubers say and vice versa. You know what? I do have one. It's just not showing right now on the stream because I forget. I have to reinitialize it every time to actually get it to work. So thanks for calling that out because I do have that. I just have to make it refresh. Boom! There you go. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So yeah, you're seeing all the comments from everywhere on there. Yep, for sure. Okay, let's finally jump on this thing. All right, so let me show you what we got going on here. So we baked out 3 different kind of materials for the helmet. We have like this pewtery thing, we have some rusty thing, and we have some metallic kind of thing going on. So this is... Let me just take off the overlay on it so you guys can see what it looks like. So here's our like metal-y kind of material. Our pewterish kind of material, which is a little more dull but grabs a lot more of those darks, like for the ambient occlusion. And then we have like this bronze kind of material that I like using a lot. It's a lot softer, but it has some nice little extra highlight differences that combined with the other two, I get some really nice shines and some really metallic stuff happening. Make that an overlay. I throw some levels and color variations on there. Same for the other 2 materials. You can see I have levels on there with some different settings here on the top right, and different values for this guy as well. I'll put the material back on there. So with those three different materials combined, you guys can see here, this is just the materials right now and a single color of that desaturated bronze kind of brown color. Okay, so from there we have a normal map that we like to bake. Oh god, where are you? Okay, so the normal map that you need in game regardless, right? But then we also bake a world normal, and from that world normal we like to grab our green channel, which is the light capturing, or you know, the top light, which creates, you know, from the normal maps have 3 different directions, which creates the shadows and the lights in game for higher topology that you baked out, so it fakes all that lighting and shadows. So that's all the normal map does. So what we're doing is we're just grabbing the top view of that texture, which is the green channel. So we grab that and we modify it to use it as a top light to enhance some of the baked lighting onto our model, since, you know, the lighting from Dota is usually just from the top. There's some dynamic lights here and there, but you know, usually just from the top. So we bake some of that stuff in there to make our textures look even better. So let's see, where is it? Lit. Put it in here. There you go, so you guys can see. It's a lot more apparent when you see it on 3D. So let me just save this first before that, so you guys can see what our materials combined did. Get some of those highlights, some of those darks to kick in a little bit nicer. Let me just remove this. Low poly? This is the low poly, okay. That's my LOD glance, that side. This out of the way so we can work a little bit there here. I want to move this to my toolbox so it gets out of the way. Okay. See, I have a lot of stuff in the toolbox. You just move all this stuff into the... actually. Oh, God, there's so much crap on here. Okay. Let's clean up the scene a little bit. Now we can concentrate on the helmet. Alright, we'll put on the lid. And I'll save this. You guys can see what that actually does for us. See, this is really very flat. See, from the 3D view, you actually get the sense of where, you know, even if it's a little bit of a change on the shadows and the highlights, when you see it on 3D, you know, you see that really kick in. What's up, Prophet? John, you have a question. You always see that you first block out the soft image and then export to ZBrush. You are a Moto user. Do you recommend if I block out in Moto and then import to ZBrush? So usually, most artists create their work in ZBrush and then just retopo on top of it. I find that for Dota, creating the low poly allows you to see the actual low poly. Oh, hey, what's up, Barter? Hey, a full year, man. Resub, thank you so much. Appreciate the support, man. Really, thank you. Get your pancake song and everything. So what was I saying? ZBrush, right? So for Dota, seeing the actual amount of polygons that you can use on your blockout allows you to actually design your model fully. You know, instead of having to sacrifice some of that model or some of that texture later on. If you create something crazy in ZBrush and you're like, oh, I don't have the polygons to really make this third blade of the shoulder come out, I have to delete it or edit it or lose polygons somewhere else. You know, having the low poly in mind with your current poly count and your actual volumes, I think helps a lot. And then creating your ZBrush from that. So it's, you know, you don't have to do it that way. It's just a preference for us, and I think it's a better workflow. You know, because once you have that, you can just sculpt right off of that. You know, you subdivide a couple times without smoothing, so you keep the volumes. Then you subdivide 2 more times, and then you start, you know, getting rid of the quads, and then do your high poly on top of that. And you don't have to retopo, so you skip that step. The step that you add is that you have to get rid of the quads when you subdivide a couple times without smooth, and then with smooth, and then sculpt on top of that. But that doesn't take very long. It takes less than doing a retopo, so I think it's better. Hello, Dominator. Dream Suit, what's up? Prophet uses the same workflow. Okay. So we have our light coming from the top. Sometimes I like to duplicate that light and add even a second one on top of that, and then mess around with the levels on it so it's a little bit sharper, so it's just a little bit brighter and a little bit darker on just on the highlights. So let's do that real quick. I'll just grab... Oh yeah, I do have a color balance. I like to do color balances on top of my masks. So we start adding in on each layer a little bit of color, a little bit of browns, a little bit of purples, depending on your highlights, you know, some greens. And that brings your texture a lot more to life than if you just, you know, did that at the end, or kept your starting diffuse colors on your bottom layers. So yeah, even on your ambient occlusion, you know, start adding some colors to your shadows, guys. Don't always use blacks. Never use 100% blacks for shadows. You know, always purples, blues, maybe warmer colors if that's what the model, if it's a fire guy or whatever. You know, put those things in there. It adds a lot to your texture. So that's what I did. Even for this thing here, you can see some warmer browns kicking in. And then I adjust the colors at the bottom layers and that so that they work together, you know. So you're never stuck this way, you just have some layers and some easy colors to manage this way. And then at the very end we actually do some hand painting and get the highlights in there and really go artsy with it. But you know, this is more technical stuff that that we set up beforehand. So yeah, maybe try that out. So I'll just duplicate all these three. Whoa! Look at the levels, and I'll bring down the brights because that is way too much. Let's see, you can see a little more of that contrast kicking in, and because of my color pass, it's actually getting a little bit more saturated as well. So we can mess around with that later if we think it's too much or not. But you know, the tiny little bit of contrast that we're getting from this, it's really nice. I might even do a little more of a kick on these brights. And a little bit more of a kick on the darks. So from the cheek down to where the little flap at the bottom bends, we get a little bit of a harsher contrast between the two. You actually see that change in the metal, in the direction of the metal. And then on the bottom bars here, I control how much of the brightest brights will be and how dark the darkest darks will be. I don't want to make it too dark either, right? Because then it gets kind of blotchy. But and even on the cheek here, I might, you know, when we do our painterly stuff by hand, I'll go in there and brush out a lot of this extra busyness that we have, because we don't want it to be quite this busy, or with all this little, all the decrepitness. We want it to be around the edges, but maybe not so much into the middle. And even the gradients might be a little too much going on, a little too many directions happening here. So I might clean that up with some hand painting at the end as well. Faces void is the wrong letter? What? Oh yeah, there is a... You're right. You know what? I don't think I can even edit that. Oh, did I just vote for it? I just voted for it. I was trying to edit it. Nope, I broke it. I don't know what's going on with the vote. Okay, so we have our lit. Is that too much? Let me... Be a little too dark. Lift it up a little bit. Okay, that's pretty good. So, we have our mattes, we have our light direction. Now let's do our overlays. So, well, these are all gonna show up at the same time, but here, let me hide them all. Show you this does a lot of work for us. Okay, so ambient occlusion, we all know what an ambient occlusion looks like, right? If not, then let me show you real quick. Black and white texture, right? And I like this. So that's an ambient occlusion from our ZBrush bakes. Then I make it a multiply layer. Throw some color correction on it, because like I said, we want some color into our dark. So you can see I added a whole bunch of reds and yellows into it. Oh, hey, what's up, enemy? Oh, you gotta put a space between that vote and that force, sir. Man, you can show people the tiny. Guys, the tiny ultra epic. Yeah, I'll show it in a bit. Let's work a little bit though. Otherwise, we'll never get any work done. Then I did a levels after our color correction. I also added a curvature from our curvature bake. I grabbed the green channel, which has, so I grabbed some of the cavity. It's kind of like a cavity map from ZBrush. So I grabbed that and I put that over top of our AO. So I even kick some of those cavities a little bit stronger into the darkness. And it also grabs a little bit of the gradient from the edges towards the inside, a little bit more there. Maybe I need to do a little bit more on that, or maybe I'll hand paint that, or make a layer for it after I do a selection, and then that'll be a lot easier. I'll do that. But this grabs a lot more of the darkness of the cavity map, so I add that in there. Then we have our EMB map, which sharpens some of the edges, as well as our EDT bake from X Normal. I haven't spoken for this long in a while. My throat is drying out. Then what I like to do is I grab our ambient occlusion map, I flip it so that it's like an extra cavity map here that I'm going to be using. I then grab the curvature map that I just described and I multiply it with what was it? A screen on top of that AO. and I end up with something like this. Then I grab that and I put it over a really dark brown texture to create a dirt pass onto the model. So instead of having all these darks into the cavities, which we don't want, is I add this layer of dust or rust or whatever it is. So for this one, I'm being super dark brown, kind of more of an oxidization happening on the metal. I added this very dark kind of wine color into the cavity. I might actually, with the other layers, it kicks up a little bit stronger, so you guys will see it a bit better. But this helps a lot. We'll go ahead and save this so you guys can see how that changes on the model. So see, we're getting a lot sharper on those cavities. I mean, there's a lot of them, like I said. I'll paint out some of them so that it works. But on the avatar, you're gonna be able to see it fairly well. I have really good UVs for this girl. Insert triplet emoticon. Dude, I was just listening to that on the weekend, and Melanie turned around and just stared me down, and she actually mentioned you, man. She's like, what, are you gonna send that to enemies? Like, actually, enemies sent me that video. You guys haven't seen the video for trumpets by, oh god, what's his name? David Corello? Oh god, what's his name? Enemy will know the name. I can't believe I forgot his name. But anyways, the video's freaking hilarious. It's so silly. Perilla TV, what's up? When is the CK set gonna be accepted? I have no idea, man. It's up to Valve. Share it and vote for it, guys. I guess that's how you guys can help. Alright, next layers. So that's our overlays. Oh, that was without our lit. Show you guys with the lit. Okay, so that's with the light pass on over top of all those other layers. Let's see, we have some really nice shadows on the inside of the cheek, which we did model because you'll be seeing her from the top, and they're kind of like pulled away from her face to add volume. And yeah, we did model the inside of that part of the helmet, and also that part of the inside of the nose, because when you rotate around it in cinematic view, you will see that you don't want to be able to see through it. So we added those polygons, made them dark with the occlusion. It's gonna work really, really well. Also, there's self-shadowing inside of Dota 2, so that will add another layer of shadow pass on top of her. And another thing that you can see on here, let me move this shield out of the way. The helmet has this hair strands, which I'm going to be creating with some alpha and have some extra little hair strands floating around. So right now they're just black. I haven't done them at all, but they'll have some extra little hairs kind of floating about there, which will look really, really awesome. And they'll move a little bit with the bones too, with some cloth. Enemy, you don't know either, enemy? Oh my god. Jason Derulo, I think. Is that it? I think we're getting closer. Yep. Okay. Let's see, what else do we do? I think this is where I left off, actually. Excuse me. What was this? Oh, this is some lighting. Yeah, okay, so we don't need this. I copied my file over from my weapon so that I had all the layers set up. So this was part of the glows that I was doing for the lance. And then some color correction on top. Yeah, I was kind of kicking in the saturation. Shadows. We haven't done any shadows on this thing. Selection layers. Ah, the ramp. Okay, so here's our grad. Our ramp layer from top to bottom, which we love to do in our models. So what I do is I grab this layer, paste it on here. We'll make it an overlay. We'll make these layers apply just to our gradient. So what I have here is levels. This is crazy blown out because it's from our weapon gradient, so just ignore that for now. What I'll also like to do is copy the same layer, make a mask out of itself, and flip it. And what that what that does is it allows me to control really just the bottom part of it and not the highlight. So you can see here the top of it is dark, but the actual mask itself is dark on the bottom, not on the top, so it's flipped. Oh god, hold on. See? So this is a regular mask. Then I put the mask and I flip it. We put some levels on there. Actually, I'm not gonna do the levels yet. Let me show you guys what the gradient. We'll do a gradient map on top of that. So what that does is the gradient tells the dark colors to be a certain color and the bright colors to be a different color. So instead of messing around with a whole bunch of layers trying to get all these colors, you can do it with one single gradient map on top of your ramp that already has the black to white on the color, so you can control, you know, the bottom of the helmet or the bottom of your model to have a little bit of greens or purples if you're doing shadow stuff or whatever, and kind of mix it into the background a little bit nicer and get it to sit really nice on Dota inside of the game. So it is confirmed, the voting is broken. So let's see what we got. Night Stalker, Faceless Void, Tiny, and Undying. I'm gonna have to make a new one, you guys. So, what was it? Undying. Faceless Void. Tiny, I think. And what was the other one? Let's see, I have him on the stream. Night Stalker. Probably misspelled something, but whatever. Let's see, maximum votes per user, we're gonna keep that at 1. Allow vote changes on. Other users can add options? God, no. Can you imagine? Probably like, I'm not even gonna say it. Allow anonymous voting? No. Okay. That deadline. Oh, maybe that's why that here. They just put this too. I bet you it's the deadline why it was broken. We'll set the deadline for February 2017 or yeah. Okay, and we can create the question now, I believe. It should update on the right side and completely destroy all the other votes. We'll enable it to Twitch. Boom, there we go. And I'm gonna vote for Undying myself. Okay, so now it's live and working. Sorry about the vote, guys. Should be working now. Exclamation mark vote space number. How do you make the gradient map? Oh, Seung Lee. Good question, dude. So on YouTube's, I have the tutorial that shows you exactly how to make that inside of Maya. You can just head on over there and check it out. Scroll down to the information below. Actually, you're already on our YouTube, as I can see. So yeah, just check out the tutorials, and you can see the gradient map tutorial that we did on a little gorilla. And check it out. Okay, let's see, gradient map. So you just click on our gradient map here, and you can see the current colors that we have for the helmet. Now, for this specific ramp, we really don't need too much of a color, a drastic color change. So maybe a little bit of a yellow for the top colors. Oh, you see, where's the top? The bottom or the top? Sometimes it's flipped. It's depending on what the hell I was doing. Okay, so the bottom one is the left side is the bottom. So maybe we add a little bit more of some little purples onto it, maybe some blues for the shadow. Alright, I mean, we can always change this. You can see how easy it is to change the colors once we have the ramp instead of just hand painting all this stuff, right? And then the top, we want to do a little bit more of that light color, maybe some yellows. And we'll desaturate those yellows quite a bit, maybe a little bit into the orange actually. Because I am going to desaturate the helmet quite a bit on the base color of it, because I want it to be that old bronze kind of feel. Okay, so this is not bad. We are getting a little bit of a blue towards the bottom. I'll go ahead and oh, actually, let me see what the levels do. The levels don't do a lot. They just dim down the top a little bit. Well, we can decide if we want to use the levels or not. I'll just keep it invisible for now. We'll save that. We'll see this kick in a second here. Ah. Look at that nice little subtle gradient we have happening. Not bad. Not bad. This is still super early on. We'll be doing a lot of work on this stuff, especially on the painterly stage. Now that's when we really start to see the model come through with actual in-game kind of mechanics, and you know, getting it looking painterly inside of Dota is key. So all this stuff is great, you know, for like other engines, but for Dota we gotta do the painterly stuff and really, you know, make it look super professional. All of the scripts for the tutorial work great, except with the latest version of Maya. Ah, crap, that sucks. Well, there you have it. Okay. Good to know, Abyss. Good to know. Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out, see if the script gets updated. If not, I think there's another way to do the ramp inside of Maya even, so we'll look at that as well for you guys. I think Marmoset also has a way of making that map fairly easy too, so we'll take a look. Yeah, like the bronze stuff with metalness is gonna look really, really tight, and she has metal all over the place, this Legion, so I'm definitely banking on that. Okay, we have our dirt map. I'm just gonna delete layers that I don't need. No, you know, no sense in having extra layers. Ballooning up the file. Alright, so we have our colors. How's this saturation for our model? I think we need to go... So we have to balance out the colors on the default model, a little bit of her armor, but we also want to, you know, showcase the set as well and have its own colors kind of standing out. So she has a lot of really strong yellows, which, you know, for the most part we kind of hide with the cape and the shoulder pieces and whatever, and she has this more of a default kind of desaturated bronze already. You know, not quite as light or as desaturated as, you know, we were doing our bronze, but I guess it's something we need to try out in game once we see the metalness. At that point, we really kind of start messing around with the brightness and the saturation of all our colors. Okay. So yeah, you can see the difference here with our dirt pass. One thing that I did want to do actually was darken or brighten the edge of the brims. So let's say, I don't know, let's just brighten it for now. I'm not sure if we'll want to actually brighten it or darken it, but I'm gonna test this out and then we'll decide. So what I like to do is show the normal map so we can actually follow all these edges as precisely as possible. And I like to cut into the little cuts as well on our selections. And we'll just go through the entire inside. Cut this guy's out. It takes a little bit of time, but it's well worth it. Instead of just trying to hand paint this and having errors all over the place. Oh god. Just like that. I didn't say it was perfect. And let's just grab the full thing first. That'll save some time. Can't see where the hell I am now. Let me just grab the whole thing. I know what little pieces. What is that? Inside of the nose or something, I bet. That is, what is that? Okay. Now we start taking away. Okay. Really, all we're taking away is the inside plating. And then we can control how bright or dark we make the outside. And that will make this actually really nice and readable. Dota. What is this? That is other part of the cheek somewhere, I believe. That's actually, I think that's the inside. Yeah. And I think I had a selection for just the... Oh no, I didn't. Okay, I'll have to do that. I'll knock out the outside afterwards, but first let's knock out the inside. Let's see, this is all... What part is this? This... Okay, yeah, this is a cut. The left side of the forehead, which doesn't mirror. So the whole front part of the face, I actually made it not mirror, so it was all nice and unique. A little more careful here with this line, it's a little tricky. The thing about this masks is if I end up messing up wherever for whatever reason. Oh my god. Did I do these things backwards? Good times. Yeah, I did. Supposed to be selecting the other stuff. Mistakes were made. It's all good though. It's just on the cheek part. We'll fix it. Fix it. While I select all this stuff, let me keep an eye on the chat, see if there's any more questions for you guys. The new texture on the normals are up for the cape. Awesome, Abyss. Thank you so much, man. Yes, King. We definitely need to bake larger maps and then scale down, for sure. And when we scale down for Dota, we also scale down with the sharpener scale down as the options when you scale down an image in Photoshop. So yeah, that works. The scale down sharpening bit actually fairly nice to use. Most people don't realize that that option is there. You know, when you upscale a texture or downscale a texture, there's some options to actually make it work a little bit nicer. We do like to use those. It's the bottom of the window when you are scaling up or down. Oh man. Just a bad edge. Alright. So by cutting this out, not only is it making a layer for me to... for me to make the edge brighter. Oh crap. What do we got? King! Hey man, thank you so much for the support! There you go. Muted the song for you and everything. But it also is going to allow me to create the inner shadow that I want to put on the inside to put a little bit more of that corrosive brown from the edge, from the edges of this framework towards the inside of the cleaner plate. So that also makes this whole bit more readable from a distance. You know, adding that little bit to it. All these layers, you know, all add up together to really kick in from close up to work in the avatar view and from far away from game view. Oops. Where did I mess up? So this one's kind of weird. Kind of blends almost into the outside, so maybe I'll just blend that with by hand with texture later anyways. Okay, so we have the inside plate all set up. Oh man, a whole bunch of other ones. That's the back, I believe. The back of the little fin on top of her head. Okay. This is the second fin. We have two of them on the back. which I might actually scale these guys up when we're all done in the actual mesh, so that it's a little bit, you know, stands out a little bit more. A little bit of a change. Oh my, I'm hitting the wrong key here? This is the third time Okay. Good, we have the inside. So we just want the outside, right? So do this one and then we'll take it away. Okay. Let me grab this guy too while we're at it. Now, one of these edges is actually part of the normal, or is it just shadow? I think it's just shadow, so we want to actually go all the way up to the green here. Because the other part is not part of this framework, which is supposed to be a different metal on top of the other one. It's layered on top. Trying to figure out if that was an actual like gradient on the normal map, but no, it's actually supposed to be faking part of a different mesh, even though it's all the same mesh. Oh my god. Nobody saw that. Okay. Do the inside here real quick. Straight sections, a lot easier, right? Sort of. And the inside of the faceplate, I think. Here. Pixels. Oh man, look. I did both sides. Okay, I need to look at the model because I don't remember that. These UVs were like a year old. I remember them all. Let's take a quick look. So these guys up here are, I think, at the top side somewhere. Nope, they're the nose part, I guess. What the heck? Oh yeah, they're at the top. Oh wow, really? They're way in there. They're all cut up. Hey, Frosty in the house. Painting armor, that's it. And that's gonna be the inside, which I guess does have that little bit all the way around the edge. Yep, to make that a little bit brighter. And that's the nose, I can tell what that is. What are you? Ah, yeah, there it is, the second thing I was talking about. Okay, so yeah, we need to select all the... Oh, there's a little baking area there we'll have to clean up when we do our painterly stuff. We will. Okay. Okay, let's see. Grab these guys real quick. Inside of the cheek. A little tedious. And then the last bit up here. Heck, was that it? Oh wait, what's this? That is not supposed to be there. Okay. That is nothing. Oh wait. What about this guy? Okay, that was the last piece. I hit Control instead of Shift. Plus or minus your selection tool. Okay, wow. Super boring to watch, I'm sure. So we're gonna knock this stuff out with white on the mask. Oh, no, I lied. We're gonna invert and then flip to white. There it goes. So see, now the edge is a little bit brighter. But we can control whether we want that to be brighter or darker. See which one works better. If we go darker, we need to go desaturate this thing. That would be even easier. Put a levels on top of that. Control G, so that it only affects that top layer. Ah, the saturation. Okay, catch that. Then I can control the saturation at the same time with the contrast. I think I will keep some color into it. I think brighter is the way to go. When we hand paint it, we can paint way nicer highlights around the edges. Okay, so we've seen that framework kind of kick in a little bit better. Gonna require quite a bit of hand painting up here to really showcase these guys and paint some of those errors out as well. But at least we're seeing the difference between, you know, the outside edging of the metal and then the inside faceplates. Work fairly well. There's our color balance. You see all these other layers we were doing before. Okay, now that we have that mask, we can do that inner stuff that I was talking about. So let's see, how can we do that? We're gonna make this entire thing, I think, black. And we'll call it a... Actually, we'll make it white and we'll call it a multiply on it so that it does nothing. But when we cut it out and we apply an inner glow to it, you actually just see the inner glow, which will be a shadow actually. We do drop shadow, inner glow. Inner glow just happens to have more options on it. I like to use it more often. Have to set it to multiply though. Not to give it a color. Otherwise nothing happens. And we have to invert our mask. Here, with all the settings, we can see what I was talking about. You can see a little bit of that gradient running into the inside. Creates a really nice effect. Creates a kind of a polish effect, you know, because when you have metals with frameworks, the middle section and the outside section and the curvature sections of them usually will brush up against other elements or rain or other elements, you know, come into contact with it, which make it cleaner or make it more wore down or whatever it is. So the more original color will remain towards the edges and the parts that have more friction with the elements or with other objects in the world, right? So that's usually what happens with when you see paint, you know, the crepiness on like robots or metals or walls or whatever it is. So that's what we're actually doing on this guy as well. And because it's a mask, or will be, we can actually flatten that and then it'll be a full mask. We can then control it by hand where we want it to show up. So, for example, I can go into the nose section and kind of kill it a little bit there so that it keeps some of this brightness onto the nose section as well. Yeah, we can be as harsh as we want with this color. Maybe we go darker, and maybe we go a little bit less saturated at the same time. You guys all my tricks. Alright, that's nice and subtle. So the problem with this thing right now is that some of these guys, some of these masks cut off here, so it creates a weird kind of extra shadow in some sections that are mirroring each other. So for example, over here you see this line up here, it's not supposed to be there, right? So what can we do? we can create a mask on top of that and then kill it out that way. Or sometimes you're able to just like drag it, drag that mask so to make it that it continues all the way through. But it's already created, so it's not letting me push it in that direction. You can do it here, but then it starts messing up with the top part there. So what we can do is make a new folder and create a new mask on that, put the layer on top of that mask, and then in this mask we can just kill it by erasing into it. Problem is we're getting some really nice stuff happening across the board. Makes it difficult. I want to kill it everywhere because it's adding a little bit of a darkening. Maybe we erase by 50%. And I don't want to mess around with the rest of it. And I want to use a soft brush, so I want to mask out everything else except the dome. See how much of this I can erase away. I'm getting into too much trouble. Right, I'm gonna flip that and do the same for this section down here. I think it's also down here, yeah. Let's go by 25, I guess. No, actually that brown is actually not so bad over here. Kinda like it. It is darkening our whole texture quite a bit though, so we might need to go back onto the base texture and then brighten that back up. And get that to work. So let's just save this and we can see the updated version on our model. Whoa, yes, it got really dark, but we're getting a really nice little gradient happening on it. So we can go back in there and brighten up the default color. And then when we do the hand painted stuff, I can jump in here and hand paint, some of these